Okay, so now for another Halloween horror movie review, and I'm going to talk about one that actually came out pretty recently, as in last August, Lights Out. A movie I had been looking forward to finally get around to see, and I finally saw it a couple days ago, and this is just my overall review of it. Quick backstory on it, it's based off a short that made the rounds on YouTube a few years back, and I rather liked that short. It was good, creepy, but again, it was short. So stretching that out to a full-length feature film might have some problems. I guess we'll have to see. But the movie Lights Out was made by the same guy who made the short Lights Out. So all those people saying it's a ripoff of the short, this is by the same guy who made it, so no dare. Um, but without further ado, let's get into the acting. I think the main cast for this movie does a very good job. Not spectacular or anything, but they do a good job for this movie, and they help carry the film. Because they're the ones you spend the most time with, the four main characters, the boyfriend, the daughter, the son, and the mother. They're just the ones you're around the most. There are some side characters who make appearances, and their actors do a fine enough job, but they're not around enough to make an impression. They're either there to die or to just add some plot elements here or there. But like I said, it is the job of the four main actors to hold this movie together, and they're the ones that the ghost is interacting with the most, and they do a good job showing their fear, their concern, and their overall desire to just get the hell away out of here. Like I said, there's nothing outright fantastic, but all the acting is solid enough to ensure your enjoyment of the movie in that avenue. It's not like some horror movies where the acting is just atrocious and you don't give a shit. They actually do a decent job of making you care about these characters. As for the cinematography and music, the music was used well throughout the movie, but I didn't really notice any different types of camera work. The movie's well shot and well lit, so it's appropriate lit and stuff. It's called Lights Out, so of course most of the time it's going to be dark. But you can see when you need to. It's not too dark, and it's, like I said, well shot. But there's not, like, atypical camera angles or anything. It's just fairly standard film production or film cinematography, which is fine. Just I like some different ones here or there, especially in horror movies, because they can really add to the overall movie. But overall, music and cinematography were fine for this movie. But the thing that breaks or makes most horror movies is the story. And the story in this movie was actually pretty good. The backstory for the creature in this movie is a really good mix of Asian and American horror movies. It's something. It would be like the type of backstory you would get from that mixed. And I really appreciate that as someone who enjoys Asian horror movies and American horror movies. So that was good. It does also help add to the movie's sense of drama and works as an explanation for what's going on, because otherwise it's the only way they could really explain what's going on, and it works well enough. There could have been more explanations here or there, but then you begin tons of exposition and you're wanting a horror movie, not a lecture. So there's that. Like I said, though, still could have used some more visual explanation, but it was what it was in that regard. The family's history is also well covered, but like with the backstory, there are some gaps that could have been filled to overall add to stuff, because you're left with a little. You understand all these character relations and everything, but there could be a little more information probably to fully understand, instead of just having to fill in the gaps yourself and you not being able to do it completely well. But overall, family history and backstory were solid and everything. The conclusion for this movie worked for it, but it's something I've seen in several horror movies before, so I wasn't impressed by the ending, but it worked for the film, and I thought it was overall good. It also uses the movie's gimmick with the whole Lights Out gimmick very well. It varies stuff up. There's different types of lights used throughout the thing. There's different settings used, and it also helps that the creature is creepy in the dark. When you actually see it, because they get a light that allows them to see it later in the film, you don't see it much. But when you actually see it, it doesn't look as good as when it was all covered in shadows and stuff. But like I said, good creature design when it's covered in shadows helps overall with its gimmick as well as the variety and stuff, so that works well. It does have some good creeps and scares, but like I said, when you actually see the creature, it doesn't look great, and it's better in the dark. The true horror from the movie comes when it's in the dark, and it's just this creepy thing you can't make out. You can see enough to know it is not something you want to confront, but you can't see it enough to where you're just left imagining what the hell does this thing look like, and sometimes best to leave that to the imagination. But like I said, there's some good scares here and there. There's maybe a couple of jump scares, but they actually didn't get me because the ones that they tried to use here and there were pretty typical, so you could see them coming a mile away. But like I said, there are good horrors and scares, and there's just could use some more work here and there. Or like I said, it's a good scary movie, and overall I say this is a very solid horror movie with good acting and storytelling, with characters you can mostly care about and get invested in, which is actually an upward trend in horror movies lately. From everything I've seen, you're starting to get more horror movie characters you can care about. For the most part, some of them still make stupid decisions, but overall it's a solid package character-wise. It also has a good mystery element to it, and as you're slowly finding out more and more about how this monster functions and whatnot, you're enjoying that slow reveal and everything, and just adds a good sense of mystery. Um, I would definitely recommend this movie if you're a horror fan, because it's a good enough movie to go out and see. And even if you aren't a horror fan, still check this out. It's a very solid film with good acting and good storytelling, like I said. Like I said, the ending could have been maybe a bit better, but overall a solid package. And other than that, nothing to say but later.